Most people think that becoming a millionaire just takes luck. It could be a viral business, it could be hitting the lotto, or the next big cryptocurrency. But according to the financial expert Stacy Johnson, there are 10 golden rules that can make almost anyone a millionaire over time. Now, in today's video, we're going to be breaking down all 10 of these rules, seeing which ones actually hold up, which ones really need a reality check or might not work. So if you see these rules really work, let's break them down and make sure it's just not that motivational fluff. Now, rule number one, never spend more than you make. It sounds very simple, but honestly, this is the true foundation when it comes to wealth creation. When you look at gurus like Dave Ramsey, spending and never spending more than you make. If you're running in the red, if you're running net negative, unfortunately, that is going to really steal your wealth and steal the ability to create wealth and even generational wealth. So if your expenses rise with your income, you will never build wealth. So traditionally what we see it, lifestyle inflation, keeping up with the Joneses, lifestyle creep, whatever you want to call it, for a majority of individuals, the more money you make, the more money you're going to spend, meaning your account stays about the same when it comes to your bank account and the ability to actually build wealth. Now, trying this, and really the easy way to do this, automate your paycheck. So if you're thinking of your salary, you get 100% of your salary, all of a sudden you get a 3% raise. Take that extra 3%, move it aside to another savings account, another investment vehicle. Even bumping up 401k plans can really build generational wealth, meaning that you might be living on 85, 90, maybe even 95% of your income overall instead of being at that 100% income mark. And honestly, this is how millionaires are made. It is not from the sudden windfalls. It's about the consistent surplus and the compounding that we see with investing. And honestly, if you set this up as automation like I do, 15% is allocated to my 401k plan. Even a couple percent is going into my brokerage account, making it super easy to invest 20% of my income, meaning the remaining 80% is exactly what I do live on. Now, rule number two, avoid debt like the plague. Regardless of what financial guru you look at, whether you're looking at Ramit or you're looking at Dave Ramsey, the Money Guy show, avoiding debt is the number one destroyer when it comes to building wealth. And it can destroy it faster than anything we see. And really, high rates, credit cards, high interest loans, unsecured loans, they eat away at your future income through the interest payment. So instead of you having the ability to actually save money, start the compounding working, it works in the exact reverse. The credit card companies are claiming all the interest and keeping part of your paycheck. The loans are doing the exact same. Now, let's clarify something that you need to know. Not all debt is bad. You have to know this, guys. Not all debt is bad. If you're borrowing anything that is going to create possible cash flow, starting a business, maybe to earn more money, spending money on yourself for getting a better education, let's say it's certifications, you have to be a lot more strategic with the debt if you're willing to take it on and know exactly what you're doing. Now, the key to understand this is the return on interest or the return on assets versus the interest rate. That is going to be the big thing. If you return on more money than your borrowed money, then what you're paying interest, it turns it into an asset rather than a liability. For instance, and I know there is a risk associated with this, let's say you borrow $10,000 and it's at, let's say, 5%, which borrowing against an investment account could definitely be right around 5%. All of a sudden, you're investing that money, you're making 15, 20, 25%. You are turning that into an asset, not a liability. Now, of course, like I said, there is risk associated with it. So you got to know exactly what you're doing when you are borrowing on margin. So of course, when it comes to consumer debt, credit cards, high interest debt, absolutely avoid it like the plague, but using it to leverage intelligently with investing can be a really big game changer. Now, rule number three, buy when everyone's freaking out, sell when everyone thinks they can't lose. This is just a backwards rule. Honestly, it's kind of crazy, especially right now. We are dealing with day 7 of the government being shut down. When the market crashes or when the market pulls back, fear dominates. That is when all of the assets are going on sale. That is the time you need to be putting more money into the market. Now, Warren Buffett really expresses perfectly, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Right now, a lot of people are thinking that the S&P 500 is going to drop a ton. We're going to see the government shut down for weeks or even months. And overall, if it happens, it happens. Market pullbacks are normal. When you think of the dot-com bubble, when you look at the housing market, when you look at COVID, when you look at the recession, it is normal for the markets to drop. In 2020, market crash, the S&P 500 dropped 34%. Think about that, guys. Would you be able to stomach a 34% loss? Those who kept investing or even increased the contributions saw massive gains in recovery, including myself. We were investing through all of 2020 when COVID happened. And because of that, we rebounded. We're at about 140% return in the last 5 years, which is kind of crazy. Normally it takes about 7 years, but we have done it because we were buying all the way down the market hole and really down the rabbit hole. So let's be real here. It is a lot easier than it is said. I mean, said than done. To put it honestly, this is where emotional discipline, long-term vision, and dollar cost averaging comes in. When everything is screaming recession, when you're seeing the market go down, this is the time you don't have to worry about timing in the market, just buying through all of the chaos that you see, and eventually the market is going to recover. Now, rule number 4, you can either look rich or you can be rich. Flashy cars, designer brands, expensive vacations might look like they're very wealthy, but oftentimes they are funded by debt, unsecured debt, credit card debt, even looking at home equities and mortgage loans. It's kind of crazy. Meanwhile, when we look at the actual millionaires, most of them are driving a little bit of an older car, living well below their means or under their means, and quietly investing the difference, because your goal in life shouldn't be to impress people. It's about the freedom that they wish they had. And there's going to be a point when you're at this debt free journey. Being rich is silent, looking rich is very loud. Now, of course, this is a big play when it comes to social media. We see the highlight reel of everyone's life. You don't see exactly how they got that. Where if they're borrowing $5, $10, $15,000 to go on vacation, that is something that a lot of us, including myself, will not do. But overall, people used to save money to go on vacation. Instead of now, they just borrow all the money they want and then spend the next 5 years paying for it. The rule number 5, live like you'll die tomorrow, but invest like you'll live forever. This is huge. And this is one, is really about the balance of life. A lot of people talk about investing, they talk about sacrificing, and we don't want it to get to a point where if you're sacrificing all of your joy and really missing out on life itself because of savings, you don't also want to blow your future on all of your short-term fun that you're having. Budget for both. This is where we say when you enjoy life today, taking trips, creating milestones, creating memories, but automating part of that long-term investing. This is where compounding investing will reward the consistency, not really the intensity. That's the reason why if you start at $500 a month at 25, 8% return, you're going to be at 1.5 or just north of 1.5 million by the age of 65. Your retirement is guaranteed. That is not a fantasy at all. That is just simple math on how the compounding interest works. Now, of course, if you think about that, starting 25 at the age of 25 with $500 might seem like a little bit excessive, but when you fast forward in keeping that kind of consistency, when you go through all of the pay raises, all of the promotions, get really set within your career, chances are $500 is going to be kind of a drop in the bucket. If you're getting, even 70, 80, 90, $100,000 a year, $500 not going to be huge, especially when you keep with the compounding. So there is going to be a place and time when you can do it. The rule number 6, there are only 6 ways to get rich, which is kind of crazy because it runs them through marrying money, inheriting them, exploiting a unique talent, getting lucky, owning or leading a business, saving and investing wisely. Now, most people don't inherit money. They're not married into wealth, and luck isn't a strategy that we really know. And that is why number 6, saving and investing, is the one you can control. Whether you're making 50K a year or 500,000 a year, it is about the informed decisions and really the intentional investing decisions that you're making. Don't need to be a genius, just have to be very consistent with how you're investing your money over time. And even when we look at a lot of the millionaires that have been made recently, a lot of them are educators, teachers that put away an exorbitant amount. I mean, I'm talking 15, 20, 25% of their salary, and that compounds over time, over 30 years, guys. If you're putting away 15 to 25% of your salary, I am sure that you are going to be a millionaire at that point. Rule number 7, the riskiest thing you can do is take no risk. We talk about this all the time. Keeping all your money in a cash account, keeping your money in a savings account can feel safe, but inflation is absolutely going to destroy you. If your savings is earning, and we're seeing it right now, a 0.3%, where inflation's running at 2.9, you are losing money every single year you're keeping it there. The real risk of this, doing nothing. This is the reason why money is meant to be invested in assets that are going to grow, thinking of stocks, ETFs, real estate, even small businesses. And then, of course, including on top of that, the diversification to manage risk. This is not where you're going to put all of your eggs in one basket. You're going to diversify the portfolio into a bunch of different baskets, bunch of different buckets, making sure that you do have it. Remember, risk is about managing the risk wisely, is really the price of opportunity. You can put something in cryptocurrency or something that's a little bit riskier, maybe 2, 3, 5%, whatever you're comfortable with. Doesn't mean you're going in and putting 100% rate into that basket. The rule number 8, never make your well being someone else's responsibility. No one will ever care about the money like you do. No one will care about the finances like you do as you're going out there working that 9 to 5, as you're getting that job. The bank doesn't, your financial advisor, your employer doesn't. This is why you need to learn the basics when it comes to personal finance. Understand your investments, know what you're investing in, understand your insurance, understand your taxes. And of course, it's okay to get professional advice, but you have to have some idea to know exactly how you're going to reach that financial freedom and know the dependency that really delegating some of the responsibility, but knowing that no one will ever care for your money as well as you do. The rule number 9, when it comes to information, less can be more. We live in a 24/7 financial news cycle, which never stops. Right now, they're talking markets are going to crash. Some stocks are going to go to the moon. Cryptocurrency is going to be crazy. There is so much noise out there that you really do have to filter it out. Come up with an investment strategy that you want to work on and stick to that investment strategy. This keeps you from really pulling triggers on emotional decisions, selling when the market's on the red, buying when it's in the green. Long-term investors look at fundamentals, not at the noise we see in the marketplace. It is about really the accumulation of assets, diversification, and staying invested for an extraordinary amount of time. Thinking of it right now, 46 years old. If I fast forward 40 years, making me 86 years old, at that point, guys, I am still going to be investing. I am still going to be invested and hopefully just keep that train going for the generational wealth. And the final one, rule number 10 of the golden rule: time isn't money, money is time. It's kind of crazy. Money is the real tool that will give you freedom. It will give you time. It buys back your time. When you have limited assets, you're required to work. You're still required to maintain this certain stability within life. So if your investment grows and if your investment can grow with your wealth, you're buying yourself options. You're buying yourself time. This could mean retiring early or working because you want to on something you love to do. And of course, gives you the option to spend more time with your family, travel, build something meaningful, and really spend the rest of your life being happy. You get to the point where you don't have to chase dollars anymore. You're chasing time, you're chasing freedom, and exactly what you want to do with your life in its entirety. So those are the 10 golden rules, guys, for becoming a millionaire. And while they sound pretty simple, living them really takes discipline and patience, long-term mindset. So even if you get half of the rules, you are 92% more financially ahead than most people, which is kind of crazy. So which rule really resonated with you? And of course, drop a comment down below. Let me know. Do you use any of these rules? How do you apply them? And of course, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not. We're going to go deeper in a lot of other videos coming out every single day, but let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll catch you in the next one.